Want to know what makes Forrest Gump one of the worst main characters ever? Stay tuned. And just so you know, Hollywood movies are like a box of chocolates, where each chocolate has the same filling with a slight flavor of sweetened bullshit. Greetings, my name is Alcott Scoffer, and I denounce Hollywood movies, as if they weren't quite a pitiful sight already. Today I am going to review Forrest Gump, one of the most ridiculously overrated movies in Hollywood history.
Mr. Scoffer, sir, why do you always have to aim for something sacred?
There is nothing sacred about a story where a person who mostly just goes with the flow and follows other people's orders without a second thought becomes a millionaire and also gets everything he ever wished for. I mean, come on. He rules a giant company and invests in Apple and gets to sit for several hours on a bench talking his arse off to strangers.
Well, maybe. He is really good at time management?
Anyways, there are several reasons why Forrest Gump deserves to be denounced. Reason number 1, as much as I despise all the nonsensical slogans like "simply follow your dreams" or "let your heart guide you," Forrest Gump manages to both praise these ideas and bring them down. Apparently, if you are not very bright and usually just go with the flow, you are allowed to let your heart guide you, like Forrest does. And in this case, it will only bring you success. But if you are even remotely smart and support counterculture movement, your dreams will destroy you. Like what happened to Jenny, Forrest's childhood friend and love interest.
I always thought that Jenny just didn't get lucky.
It's not just about luck, and it's not about whether I like Jenny or support all aspects of counterculture movement. It's about how blunt the moral of the movie looks if you pay attention to the paths of the main characters and where these paths took them. A hippie who wished to get away from her abusive father and enjoys adventures and love gets her life trashed and dies because of AIDS, even though Jenny died in a time period when she couldn't possibly get infected. While an obedient conservative member of society with below average intelligence somehow lives a life full of adventures, good fortune, and miracles.
You know, sir, it's kind of ironic that you noticed that life and the movie didn't treat Jenny quite right. Most puppets and people I know consider her an almost evil character, though I don't think that's fair, and I think that she deserves better.
Jenny is a very expressive example of why I have 0 childhood friends. Of all the ridiculous things in Forrest Gump, his love story with Jenny is the worst. It's not even about the fact that Jenny keeps messing with Forrest's mind and constantly leaves him just to return and screw with his heart some more. It's about how she constantly makes bad choices, and then Forrest has to face the consequences.
Oh, you've just spoken about how unfair this movie treated Jenny. Don't make her look like the main villain of the story now. Her father abused her as a child, so it must have influenced her ability to make the right choices. She just wants to be loved and accepted, and is ready to give up anything for that. Besides, sometimes she tries really hard not to let Forrest intervene with her decisions.
Yeah, right. Jenny tried so hard that in the end she always gave Forrest hope that their relationship would somehow work out. The majorly non-existent, codependent relationship. Still, that relationship had more development than Forrest Gump's character. And that is why I consider Forrest Gump to be one of the worst main characters ever. Of course, one of the main features of the movie is to show the events in society of the 20th century through the eyes of a childlike man. But the thing about Forrest Gump is that nothing ever influences him. He himself might change the world around him. He creates a corporation, wins competitions, influences history. But Forrest himself, his personality, his way of perceiving things, never changes, no matter what adventures or tragedies he survives. Nothing touches him deep enough. He just follows the wind.
With all due respect, sir, I'd like to disagree.
Oh, would you?
Yes. For most of his life, Forrest helps people out and changes their lives. But at the same time, he needed his mother's guidance. He needed to be taken care of, to be told what to do. But at the end, after 3 years of running a cross-country marathon, when he discovers he has a son, he becomes a man who makes decisions and takes care of Jenny and his child. He doesn't just go with the flow anymore. Now he has to be the one who guides and supports. And not just occasionally or accidentally. He has to care for his family. And he does.
I didn't look at Forrest's development from this point. Anyways, enough talk about characters and ideas behind the plot. There is a certain phenomenon created by this movie that annoys me much more than all the inconsistencies and false ideas altogether. And that is the enormous amount of meaningless quotes that are considered to be much deeper than they actually are.
Aww, I love the quotes from Forrest Gump. Do you want to know my second favorite one, sir? The one that is not about a box of chocolates?
I'd rather stay unaware.
I don't know if we each have a destiny, or if we're all just floating around accidental-like on a breeze, but I think maybe it's both. This is my favorite quote, and it actually sums up our discussion, Mr. Scoffer. This movie doesn't tell us to always go with the flow or to fight our destiny. Forrest says it himself. There is no correct strategy, no predefined destiny. Life is much more complicated and full of choices.
Such contradictory pseudo-deep quotes are one of the reasons why this sappy Forrest Gump melodrama gets denounced today.
Gee, I love Forrest Gump way too much to let it get denounced. I wonder if Mr. Scoffer will get angry if I put a slightly edited version of this episode on air.
I love Forrest Gump. It's the best movie in the world.